we can have this conversation again after election.
I agree with you, but again, let me just add this: the economy does not run on emotions or what you feel.
Hello everyone, welcome to Zabira Buzzed Me, your go-to video podcast for all things tech, finance, and digital assets. And today we have a special edition. My name is Olamide Salawa. I'm going to be your host. And today in the studio, we have two personalities that we're going to be taking, and they're going to be talking about, digital also and how Nigeria actually manage money. So our first guest is the brain behind Zabira. Is the MD CEO of Zabira Technologies, Mr. Isaac John. Is the brain behind over the platform where over 300,000 people actually use to trade crypto, buy and sell gift card, and also utility bills. Thank you for coming to the studio, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so our second guest is someone with a lot of banking experience, traditional banking experience. He has 18 years, and that's a lot. So today is packed for us in person of Mr. Oludare. Thank you very much for coming around, sir. Thank you so much. Okay, so the discussion today is basically what every average Nigerian will actually want to know about, because it's something that has been eaten into, the economy and also the minds of many Nigerians. So the first question I'll be asking Saz is that, is it that the average Nigeria is just generally bad with money, or is it the economy?
All right, let me go first. The average Nigeria is not bad with money or spending. As a matter of fact, I would say the average Nigeria on a global level, it's a financial operator, right? Very disciplined with high financial agility. Now, the issues we have majorly has to do with inflation. So you have a scenario where the inflation rate within a short window, it leaps beyond the wage a financial or the average Nigeria earn within a short window. And with that, whatever you earn in wages or salary, it evaporates due to evaluation and financial or Naira depreciation.
Okay. All right, Mr. Oludare.
Okay. I will start by taking us back to one of our presidential comments when he said Nigerian youth are lazy. So I would like to ask, are we really lazy? I don't think so. A typical Nigerian has learned to live with the current reality. We are hustlers. We try to adapt to situation of things. I don't think there is any youth today. I like to use youth because they are the Gen Zs, the one that's majorly shape how things are done in the economy. Okay, a typical youth today is a banker, has a side hustle, maybe sells perfume. Then in the evening, they are learning how to trade crypto, how to trade foreign exchange. Do you call that such a person lazy? I think the person is not doing enough.
Exactly.
So what has happened is we have come to realize that our income is not enough to take care of our needs. Basic needs, essentially.
Okay.
I mean, I have to go to work. I'm going to be entering transportation. If peradventure I'm working from home, cost of data too has increased. You realize that somehow data too, inflation has affected data. The same data you are using for 1 month about 2 years ago.
Exactly.
Suddenly you wonder what's happening. That same data can take you for 2 weeks. So when you say an average Nigerian youth is lazy, I keep wondering, are we lazy? Somehow the income we get today, in fact, let's talk about our currency, Nigerian Naira essentially. Nigerian Naira is no longer a store of value. It's just for transaction purpose. I'm earning in Naira. In my head, I'm thinking, tomorrow, will cost of fuel still be the same? Will cost of items still be the same? Do I want to save part of my money in USD or any other currency?
Okay.
Or do I want to leave it the same rate? So between 2023 when our president got there and today, dollar cost of foreign exchange, the value of Naira has depreciated like times 2 plus. I think as at the time we got in, the dollar was going for 500 plus, if I can still remember. Today, it ranges between 1,450 and 1,500.
Exactly.
That's more or less about 250% increase. So let's look at it. 2023, how much were you earning? How much are you earning today?
Exactly. Yes.
As your income jumped by that same percentage, I doubt. So it's not about whether we are extravagant in our spending.
Okay.
The basic expenditures that you are expected to take care of yourself. If I'm going to work, I need to look good. I need to buy clothes. At least I should have shelter over my head. I should be able to feed myself. Then transportation. Cost of fuel, as at the time the president was sworn in, should be around 1 something or 200. Today, 1,200.
Definitely increase, yes.
Has my salary increased at that same rate? I don't think so.
Exactly.
So the answer is right there.
Okay.
The answer is right there. It's not about how I try to be frugal in my spending. It's just about the current reality. So in order to adapt, to be able to still maintain the same lives, even if you try not to try to reduce the lifestyle you're living, then try to say, okay, let's cut spending and all that. At least you buy clothes, you're going to buy fuel. If you are working remotely, light is not stable, you need to still buy fuel to run your gen.
Yes, sir.
At what rate?
Okay. All right. So I feel that there's a lot of big grammar being pushed down because the average Nigerian might not even be aware of so many technical words that we're using. Okay. So for example, now, how would you, in a very simple explanation, how would you explain inflation rates, personal finance, and also exchange rates for the average Nigerian?
Okay. How can I make that easy? Okay. Today, inflation is just about if I'm earning 1,000 naira today.
Okay.
That 1,000. So if I was earning 1,000 naira 2 years ago, what I was able to buy with that 1,000 naira 2 years ago, and let's say buy the same, and let's see buy that same quantity today.
Okay.
Let's say, for example, in January, a basket of tomato goes for 1,000 naira. With that same 1,000 naira, if I go to the market today, and I say I afford to buy, will I still be able to buy that same one basket? So the value, the same value of amount you have with you today, you had with you 6 months ago. If you have that same amount today, it's purchasing power. I'm trying to see how I can just
Yes,
break
I
this
understand.
down.
I understand, sir.
The purchasing power of Naira keeps reducing. When I say the purchasing power, what you're able to buy with that same amount 6 months ago, I used to buy that same thing today. A basket of tomato that goes for maybe 1,500 before. Today, it's most likely going for 3,000, 5,000 naira.
Okay.
That's just the typical. That's just the simple way to explain inflation. Okay. Ikeja along to Okwebi that we used to board for 50 naira before. Probably today it might be 250 naira. If you complain, the conductor will ask you, okay, I don't know, waiting for at the top.
Exactly.
Now,
exactly.
for a market woman that goes to the market, is going to go and buy a basket of pepper and tomato. Even if they sell it to her at that same rate she bought it few months back, by the time she's going to come, add cost of transportation and other logistic challenges she's going to face on the road, because we also have people that will form their own roadblock and still collect. By the time she's going to add all those logistic challenges, it's not going to, by the time she's getting to a store, the amount she's bought that same, the same basket of pepper a few months back is not going to be the
Same thing, exactly.
So the Naira that you have today that you feel, okay, my 1 million Naira, I want to save it. It was in my account as of January. This is June. The 1 million Naira I see, I think you are still on the same level of now, richness.
Okay.
The value that 1 million can create for you as at that time has changed. Okay. Most likely, if you check it, I might have depreciated to like maybe 75% or 60% or even lower. Today, as inflation is running, our salary is chasing it. Unfortunately, your income, if you don't double your hustle,
exactly.
Your income, in fact, double will know. If you don't triple your hustle,
exactly.
Your income will still be here. You realize that inflation has gotten to Abuja.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. So, boss, we know Zabira's recently celebrated the 60th anniversary. right? So from building Zabira and from data, from the pattern, how do you think Nigerians are actually handling the pressure of Naira? Right? Are they doing something different? Do we see more people now trading in digital assets, or is it still like at the low rates also?
All right. I will speak as someone that sees the data in the financial industry.
Okay.
Basically, from the data we are seeing, and we are seeing behavioral shift in terms of, especially young Nigerians.
Okay.
Because as he has mentioned rightfully, there's pressure on the Naira. And again, holding Naira for too long, in fact, I would say holding Naira overnight, it feels like holding ice in the sun. And you know what happens? It will just melt away.
Exactly.
Right? So young Nigerians are now doubling their hustle, not just doubling, right? We've seen scenarios where to handle this pressure, to be able to accommodate this, they diversify their funds. Either they move it into inflation hedge currencies or digital dollars or stable coins or even hard assets. We also have, you see, young Nigerians are able to now earn in not just one stream anymore. They now have multiple streams of income.
Okay.
You have people that go into freelancing, where you see a freelancer in Nigeria is able to earn from his client in New York or London, right, through foreign currency. You also have young Nigerians going into streaming. You have them on YouTube, you have them on TikTok, you have
Exactly.
them on other platforms as well, right? So these are means that young Nigerians have been able to leverage or explore so that they can handle the pressure on Naira. Again, we've seen a lot of factors affecting the Naira. It's not just inflation. You have depreciation, you have devaluation, right? The value is reducing, is shrinking on a daily basis. Like you rightly mentioned, if you purchase a basket of tomato in January for 1,000, the per unit cost of that value is no longer 1,000 naira.
Exactly.
Even if you purchase it for 1,000, cost of transportation and other logistics put together, by the time you get it to your destination and you look at the entire cost, it's no longer 1,000 naira. So there's a lot of pressure on these. And as human beings, as Nigerians, right, we have been able to evolve, especially the young generation, have been able to evolve to diversify and explore other means, so they're able to stay at par with this pressure.
And we also need to mention that, boss, the salary is not meeting up to the inflation rate as well. Just putting that out there.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. So, okay, this has been like a topic that has been in circulation for a very long time, actually since the rise of fintech. Now, the question to both of you, sirs, is that how can traditional banks and fintech work together? Because, I mean, some persons, you see the behavior, especially from data, that people now prefer to bank, like leave the traditional banks and then move to, because, I mean, their transactions go faster, there's everything is just going smooth. So my question now is that, do you think traditional banks and fintech can actually work together without, people actually coming and say that, no, they prefer this one than this one, or why are the banks not doing this? Why is fintech better? Or why is some traditional banks not meeting up to fintech?
Okay, maybe I should go first. Is there really competition between the fintechs and traditional banks? I don't think so.
Okay.
What fintechs have done is they've come to raise the standard. Yeah. They have come into the system, they have disrupted the system, they have created the standard that we, the traditional bankers, have to chase and make sure that it will meet up.
Okay.
Because the industry is all about service. If you can't give me what I want, take my money somewhere else. So fintech has come to, okay, let's compare. Let's just I like to using real life scenario to create what's it called, to
give
present
example,
issues.
yes,
Yeah. So let's look at it this way. Let's with the traditional bankers, let's refer to us as the SMS of those days.
Okay.
SMS. Then fintech have come as WhatsApp. You know those days where we do banking, and we call one sometimes in 2003. I went to the bank. I wanted to. It was not 5,000 naira then. You have to join a long queue. First, you have to get to First Bank as early as 6 a.m.
Interesting.
As they're even getting the 6 a.m., they are giving you tally. I check the tally like 495. Yeah.
Wow.
So you join a queue. from 6 a.m., you might not get your turn till maybe 3:55, 4 p.m. And once it's 4 p.m., the banks are closing. Those others, people that are still on the queue, you have to go and come back the next day. If you go to the bank, then if you open an account here and you are somewhere around Ojuelegba, the bank might not be able to pay you. You need to go to a bank where you open an account.
Interesting. We didn't meet that, unfortunately.
You need to go to a bank where you open an account.
Okay.
So imagine you are standing somewhere in Ilori.
Okay.
You have 1 million in your account. And you cannot withdraw cash. Simply because the bank there needs to reach your domicile branch, and somehow connectivity is down. So if Nigeria of today, if you have a bank that say run that kind of banking, I doubt if that bank will have up to 10 customers. So what the fintech have done is they've come to the system to distort it. So it's for us to see how we can meet up. It's a service industry. Who says to, and funny enough, these international banks who are beginning to have subsidiaries that are fintechs. Like there is a bank that has Abari. I know there is hydrogen. So banks are coming up with
initiatives.
Yes. So because you realize that if you don't meet up with the standard that the fintech are setting, you'll be left behind. And once you are left behind, your revenue reduces. Before you know what's happening, you are losing customers, and the regulators who are not sleeping.
Exactly. So, boss, do you think there can be like a synergy between traditional banks and fintech? I mean, as the brain behind Zabira.
Yes. To be honest, the conversation or the idea of war between traditional banks and fintechs, I think, is dead, right? We shouldn't be having that conversation because, again, the traditional banks, they have their own, so it's a complementary situation between the traditional banks and the fintechs. The traditional banks, they have massive cash reserve and liquidity. They have deep consumers' trust, right? Especially among the older demographics, and they also have a wide range of the environment is highly regulated. Now, for the fintech, what the fintech brings to the table is a bit different, right? We bring speed to transactions. We bring superior user interface and experience, right? So this is not a war room situation. This is complementary. The traditional banks, they have massive liquidity, and they are highly regulated. Whereas the fintech, we do things at the speed of light. Now, the sweet spot is collaboration, right? We call it integration, where the fintech build on the traditional banks. And, as it is said, when you have a sweet spot in terms of integration between traditional bank and fintech, the consumer enjoys the best of both worlds. You have security from the traditional banks, and you now have modern instant payment from the fintech. So for me, it's a complementary situation. It's not an idea of war. It shouldn't even be. This conversation has nothing to do with competition, no, right? It's a complementary one where we need traditional bank to be able to provide that foundation and that base of security, regulation, and liquidity. Then we, the fintechs, you see how our transaction has been processed at the speed of light. The very second you initiate the transaction, the recipient on the other end is receiving it that same second, right? And that's how it should be. So it's a collaborative effort, and I believe if we continue to have conversations like these from both ends and we understand ourselves better, I believe the consumer would be at we enjoy more benefits.
All right. So my question now is that, so we've seen a lot of apps come out, like so many fintech apps, even traditional banks are also coming up with apps and all, right? So what's the thing we need to look out for as average Nigerian before we use any app, any fintech app or anyone? What are the core things that we need to look out for, like the red flags, basically?
Again, with the advent of a lot of fintechs here and there, or especially when the conversation has to do with finances. Because again, we're talking about people's hard-earned money, right? So you need to do your homework, right? You need to sleep over it before you put out your funds. So red flags to look out for: one, if a platform cannot tell you which body is regulating them, right?
Okay.
Who is their banking partners, then you need to step away, right? Again, if it is a lot easier for you to deposit your funds, to put in your funds on that platform, and whenever you want to remove you or withdraw your fund, it becomes a headache.
Okay.
It takes longer time. Either they're having downtime, network issues, or delays. Then that is a critical red flag.
Okay.
Then also, lastly, I would say, if a platform is offering what's it called, high interest on your funds, right? These are also red flags.
Okay.
Yeah, they just want you to put your money, and they're offering you 100%, 200% in a week or in a matter of days.
Interesting.
That
Okay.
should tell you your funds are not safe.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, Mr. Oludare.
Okay. In addition to what he has said, I think we should also look at security.
Okay.
So I have an app. I want to put in my assets, and I can't sleep well at night.
Okay.
So security is key. So no matter how easy it is to access your app, if whatever asset I'm putting in is not secure,
Okay.
I need to be careful.
Oh,
I
interesting.
don't want to put in an asset today, then tomorrow morning I'm waking up to hear that sorry, something happened back in and somebody had something, they can't explain what happened to what I might have transferred there yesterday.
Okay.
So then service, make sure that it's very easy to play around, especially with Gen Zs. They want to be able to access your app and be able to do a whole lot.
Okay.
A whole lot. I want to buy this, I want to book hotel, I want to book. Just be able to do a whole lot. Once you can make those two things available in addition to what he has said, I think you have a long way to go.
Okay. All right. So we're still speaking about the trust aspect, right? So how has I would say that in terms of the platforms, Zabira, right? How have we been able to build trust among even our audience, basically?
All right. So the conversation about trust isn't a feature or metric.
Okay.
Trust is the entire product, right? From the very moment the user sees your ad, lands on the onboarding page,
Okay.
user signs up, user gets to the dashboard, user interface with your product, every touch point should reinforce trust.
Okay.
Right. And now, what we have done as a platform or financial platform, we ensure from our customer support, we have visibility and they are active 247 at any given time on all platforms, from social media platform to live chat. Every touch point, we ensure that, because again, users right now, they are trusting you with their finances, and these finances, one single delay in transaction would disrupt a life somewhere.
Okay.
Right. So again, users on our platform, from data we have seen, and as it is on all financial platforms, they are trusting you with family survival, business inventory, or even tuition fees. Right. You don't want to delay, or you don't want to have a downtime back end, or whatever the case is. So it's about trust. So we must ensure we have customer support that is ready to attend to users. On the platform, uptime, the platform has to be available 247. Now, and all the buttons we have on the platform, it must work 100 times out of 100. If a user wants to initiate withdrawal and he clicks initiate withdrawal,
okay,
and it doesn't respond, you have failed the user at that point.
Exactly.
The user needs that fund either to pay a bill or for something else, right? So the button has to be responsive 100 out of 100 times, right? So we must ensure to build this trust. Like I said, trust is the entire product itself. It's not a feature or a metrics or whatever it is. That at every touch point, we must ensure we deliver to the user, right? Because the user is the king at all points. If we don't sell, we can't grow.
Exactly.
We have to serve customers, right? It's about service. So in building trust, we must ensure three key things: One, the platform is readily available and responds all the time. Customer support is there at all times. And you must ensure uptime of the platform. At any time the user initiates withdrawal, the user must receive that value the very second.
Okay. All right. So we've actually addressed trust, right? But there are some things that cannot be avoided. For example, the common mistakes that people do when they are probably doing online banking or digital payments. So what are the common mistakes, and how do you advise that they avoid those common mistakes?
Okay. Because of the instant nature of our transactions,
Okay.
Once you have clicked go and it's leaving, you have to start chasing after it. So what happens is banks who have also become smarter. They have 4 tools that work 24/7 monitoring transactions. We also advise that when you are initiating your transaction, just give it that extra 10 seconds.
Okay.
Just check your details. And in instances where you might have transferred money to a wrong account, or where there is fraud and all that, please ensure you report immediately.
Okay.
So what we have done is we have developed smart systems that also detect unusual transactions.
Okay.
That's why when it happens, you can just pause a bit for second validation. And we reach out to the initiator to confirm that, okay, this transaction that left your account, is it genuine? Do you want it to go to? Then you can also reach out to, we also have bodies, teams among different banks that can easily reach out when your customer complains that, sorry, someone defrauded me. So you can reach out, okay, so please let me check this beneficiary account. Is it possible for you? Is the fund still there?
Okay.
If you see that you can hold it temporarily while we reach out, while they reach out to their customers.
Okay.
So, okay, sorry, this fund that came into your account, the sender said it was fraudulent. So the other funds, then there are also some regulatory requirements.
Okay.
To see, just try and make sure that yes. But the most important thing is, as soon as the money goes, please reach out to your banks.
Your bank, okay. But the common mistakes, because there's still a lot of, would I say, people are still doubting cryptocurrency and the whole big. So what are the common mistakes that you see when people are doing those detailed payments, and how do you advise that they can avoid them?
For mistakes from the user side of things when it comes to crypto conversations, again, cryptocurrency is not a get-rich scheme where you want to make money overnight. The major mistakes I've seen,
not a get-rich scheme.
Yes, the major mistakes I've seen from users, it's a scenario, especially years back, 2020, 21, 22. Users want to just buy some form of crypto and they expect overnight this crypto would multiply and they make money. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme, right? Again, if you see crypto, right, as an inflation hedge asset, right? For instance, you have the dollar, you have pounds, you have euros and all that. These are currencies that are pretty stable as compared to our local currency.
Okay.
So also you have cryptocurrency. And there are some crypto, to be honest, that are fashioned to be scammed, right? So again, you have to do your due diligence. Like I said earlier, any platform, either an asset, whatever it is, that promises a high return, right? It's a red flag. And to be honest, for crypto, this is the mindset that a lot of people have about crypto. They want to go into crypto to make money. That's not the idea. Crypto is not built in that way. Crypto is built in a way to ease transmission of money, especially borderless payment or remittances. Right? You want to move money to someone somewhere in the globe, either in India, in China, in Dubai, US, and all that. With crypto, especially stable coins, you are sending it now, they are receiving it in the next minute, right? As against the traditional way where you have to send and you have to wait 3-4 working days before it gets to the other destination, right? So especially stable coins, right? Users should see stable coins as a means to hedge against the depreciation we have in our Naira. And we have seen that again now in our data, right? We have seen users on the platform, they quickly convert their Naira. The moment it hits their local account, they're converting it to either US dollars or stable coins, USDT, USDC, and all that. And this is such that they don't lose value in their Naira, because as he has rightly said earlier, if you're purchasing a bottle of a drink right now and costing you 50 Naira, 6 months from now, it won't cost the same amount of
exactly,
Naira.
Yes.
Again, even when it comes to your immediate need, right? Your immediate need. I mean, the global textbook rule states that you should be able to keep immediate funds for 30 to 60 days, right? But even at that, again, the rule, the world is evolving. Human behaviors and behavioral changes towards finances is also changing, right? So even at that, my advice is you should be able to keep Naira that will be able to, that you can access within the next 30 days. Then you split the strategy and keep the remaining one in your USD or stable coins. So mistakes that people make, right, when it comes to cryptocurrency, they go into cryptocurrency with the idea or notion that they want to get rich overnight. And in so doing, people tend to lose their funds. But most importantly, my advice to all and sundry is, before you go into any form of cryptocurrency, please try to invest time to understand it, seek knowledge, understand what the crypto is, what it is, before you even invest your time and hard-earned money. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Okay, all right. Seriously, we've heard a lot. I'm sure we've spoken a lot. So I'm just going to ask some other questions as well, right? So, boss, you mentioned something about saving a particular amount, right? So the question is, how much should you actually keep in Naira, and how much should you diversify? Should you save only in Naira, or should you actually try to diversify your funds?
In our economy today, I would not advise so I would say saving in Naira entirely or exclusively is risky.
Okay.
Right. Because we see inflation here and there, you see depreciation and devaluation of our currency against stable currencies like USD, pounds, and other currencies, right? So again, my advice would be, yes, we understand that we should have funds for emergency needs and all that. And like I said earlier, the widely known rule that you should be able to, you should save your Naira or emergency fund for at least that can cover for your 30 to 60 days.
Okay.
I think 60 days is a long term, right? In considering our situation right now,
our economy,
right? Because of the Naira, I mean, it's a roller coaster, right? So, but my advice would be, we should employ a split strategy, right? At least for the next 30, 45 days, you should be able to keep funds that you need for emergency needs, right? Then for long-term goals and wealth preservation, emphasis on wealth preservation, right? You should now keep those funds or save them in digital dollars or foreign currencies that that they will retain the value. Else it will just be a situation where you are holding eyes in the sun. Like I said earlier, if what happens, it will just melt away.
Exactly.
Right? So even if it's a simple scenario, even if you say you save 100,000 5 years ago, the value is still 100,000. But what you can purchase with 100,000 5 years ago, you will not purchase that same thing today. So again, we need to look at the bigger picture and not just be focused on accumulation, right? Preservation is one thing. You accumulate, like you mentioned, security, right? Security of your funds. Yes, you have the funds. You don't just want to wake up overnight and that fund is no longer there, or you cannot purchase what you're supposed to purchase with that funds, right? So the conversation should now move from accumulation to preservation. How do I preserve this fund? So to answer your question, how much should you keep in the next 30 or 60 days? My advice would be maybe, like I said, is the split strategy. You can do a 50% for your immediate needs, 30, 60 days, and for long-term and wealth preservation, look at digital dollars, US dollars, and all that. So you can retain that value over time. Thank you.
Mr. Oludare, I'm sure you have contrary opinions. So, all right. Interesting.
So I'm looking at it from what he has said. Nigeria today, I don't think there are signs that the Naira will still lose value that much the next 6 months to 8 months, maybe till after election.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure.
Is this based on data or patterns that we are seeing?
Patterns that we have seen the last 1 year.
Okay.
If you look at let's look at the parallel market, but that's where you and I can easily access dollars from. That has been a little bit stable. It goes up today, come down tomorrow, and the difference is just like 10, 15 Naira per dollar.
Okay.
So for me, if I have cash today, all I will do is I'm an investor. So I'm not looking at my immediate needs. I'm looking at my short time needs, maybe next 6 months. I want to pay school fees. I have one car I'm saving for. I want to buy one house in Banana Island and all that. So what I'll be looking at is if I have that kind of funds, rather than splitting, but if I'm going to be investing towards that, I need to save. And while I'm saving, I also want some little interest or income on that. I don't think there's any mutual fund today that will give you anything less than 12%. I think the average between 15 and 18% in there. But you now go to dollar. There's no bank today that will give you any interest that's above 8%. So if you look at the last pattern, the last 1 year, and election is coming, I don't think any government will want to introduce policy that will create unnecessary disruption in their economy, especially when the man at the top is planning to come back and a lot of his governors who want to come back. If you are not coming back to where you are now, you're looking for somewhere else to go to. I would advise, if you are going to be investing, in the short time, invest more on Naira denominated investments, because you can negotiate 17-18%, unlike the foreign currency counterparts where the maximum you can do is 8%. Then 6 months, 8 months, by the time you are converting that funds, I bet you won't regret it.
Okay, boss, do you have?
Yes. So in addition to to draw your attention to something.
Okay.
In 2026, we live in a global village where China can cough and it will affect whatever we're doing in Nigeria, right? President Trump can wake up from the wrong side of the bed tomorrow and put a policy that affects your Naira overnight.
Okay.
Right. I mean, Iran can just wake up and, even with the peace deal, and decide. Yesterday I was on CNN. The other day, 2 days ago, they've already signed the peace deal agreement.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Vice President Vance, he cancelled his trip to Iran for the peace talk. All these things can happen overnight, and it affects crude oil. Once it affects crude oil, and we know how Nigeria is, our economy is, the response to these things is very, very, very fast, right? Yes, I can understand we have election coming next year and all that, and regulators, people in the arms of government, they would ensure they try to stabilize the economy. But it goes beyond Nigeria, right? Again, it goes beyond Nigeria. In a global economy, anything can happen, which is why I said, for me, my advice is we need to play short term in terms of holding Naira, right? Because like I mentioned earlier, it's about preservation. You want to preserve the Naira you have earned, right? So short term, for your immediate needs, 30, 60 days, try to hold Naira that whatever happens overnight, you have Naira to attend to them. But if we're talking about wealth appreciation or preservation or long-term goals, I believe holding stable coins or currencies, digital dollar, the US dollar and all that will pay off in 6 months or more.
I'm sure this is a conversation that if I ask Mr. Oludare, he probably has something else to say to us. I know.
No, but it's better we hear from him.
It's a conversation. Okay, Mr. Oludare.
You see, I think some of the fears you have into the future has happened before. The Iran-US war. But look at how stable the Naira was during that period. The luck we have is we have a refinery. All of them are running too. Seriously, if you ask me, I still feel the next 6-8 months, I don't see the Naira losing value that much. We can have this conversation again after election.
Yeah, I agree with you, but again, let me just add this: the economy does not run on emotions or what you feel.
Okay.
Right? You need to look at the data. You need to look at what is happening or events happening worldwide.
Okay.
Yes, there's a peace deal right now between the US and Iran. We have election coming next year, and based on patterns we have seen over time, yes, pre-election year things tends to stabilize and all that. But again, because of what is happening globally, right, we cannot say for certainty what will happen tomorrow. Tomorrow, do you understand?
Okay.
Yes, we know that, because it's pre-election, based on behavioral patterns and all that, this is our economy.
Okay.
But we are talking about the global economy where the price of crude oil can affect whatever we do in Nigeria, and that will have a spiral effect on the Naira, right?
Yes,
so
sir.
that is just my position.
Okay, thank you. I'm not going to ask this question again because it's going to be a debate, right? Okay, so the last question, because honestly, this has been like an eye opening for me as well. Like my mind is beginning to be more open, right? Okay, so the last question is, how do we teach the average Nigerian about financial literacy? That financial literacy is not just about saving your money, but actually protecting your money. Wants to go first?
Want to go first?
Wants to go first?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
All right. So I mentioned earlier, Nigerians and the young population should need to, or conversation around this should then move from accumulation to preservation.
Okay.
Right. And that's where we now look at purchasing power. We need people to understand what purchasing power is, and not just account balances.
Okay.
If you have 1,000 Naira, as at 5 years ago, what can you purchase with 1,000 Naira, right? As against what you can purchase with that same 1,000 Naira
Yes,
today. But a lot of people, they look at the unit value, which is account balance.
Okay.
My account balance as at last year is 1,000 Naira. Today is still 1,000 Naira, but it's different in terms of purchasing power.
Yeah.
They are different. So for me, what we can do to teach people need to understand this. People need to also invest their time in studying this, how you can preserve funds, right? Not just to accumulate. Yes, there's one thing to accumulate. There's one thing to be able to explore multiple streams of income. But then again, if you are not really preserving your funds will just keep shrinking on a daily basis, right? Yeah, so I think...
Okay, thank you.
I think his response was focusing more on the highlights.
Okay.
So let's talk to my own guys. The conductor on the road side, the pepper seller in the market, the tailor. How do you expect me to preserve my funds? When whatever I get today is not even enough for me to take care of my immediate needs.
Okay.
But a typical Nigerian, we've been able, whether with financial literacy or not, we've been able to work around methods to survive. It's all about adapting to whatever scenario that's playing out in the economy today. We've seen where people do rotational, rotational banking, where we come together, we gather money, they call it Esusu or Ajo.
Okay, yeah.
People come together, they contribute money. We have instances where, as I'm collecting my salary, I'm going to the market to buy whatever I feel I need for the whole month in bulk, so that whatever is left. Then Nigerians, we play so much on emotions. We have a family circle that encourages helping people. And so it's only in Nigeria I see somebody wake up today, no money in the pockets, no funds in your pockets, nothing in your account, and say you want to get married next month.
Interesting.
Trying to do is just to reach out to your friends, they come together,
Crowdfunding.
they contribute money, they fund. You won't even know that whoever it is that's hosting the occasion has no contribution financially. It's just to encourage Nigerians. Say, I don't want to say our economy is so bad that what I'm earning is not enough for me to even take care of my basic needs. How do I save for the future? How do I save for the future? So if you go out there, let's pull this, let's wear small shorts and go and see the way these people hustle. A typical Nigerian is an hustler. Nigerians work. In this Lagos, I've seen this Lagos I came to, and I realized that people don't sleep. People work from 5 a.m. to 6. If you go to the island during the week, see people park their car by the roadside, sleep there, wake up the next morning.
And they're out thinking, yeah.
So how do I tell such a person that you need to save for the future? You need to preserve your funds. Which funds am I preserving?
That you don't have in the first place.
Exactly. Exactly.
So we need to. So, and you see, these people are doing 3, 4 jobs, and yet they're not still able to make enough income to take care of their immediate needs. So what we can do just to encourage, give people words of encouragement. I think we're already doing enough. Nigerians are doing enough. Just to encourage them that, okay, whatever it is we are doing that's bringing in food to your table, just keep at it. And if possible, if you are supposed to still do more, if you still have 1 or 2 hours left in a day that you don't really get much to do, please look for something that can take that and bring in income. So when you have that funds, enough to feed, clothes, and shelter, then you can talk of preservation. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, so
thank
just
you.
in addition to that as well, in line with what he has said, especially when we are dealing with reality, right, and people that really earn enough, right, to cater for their basic needs, food, shelter, clothing, right. Again, my advice would be, one, we need to spend on what matters, on needs and not wants.
Okay.
Right? Yes, we need to spend on needs, the most important things, right? Health, food, shelter, clothing, electricity, and internet, so you have information and all that, basically, right? And also, another advice would be, rather than relying on a single base income, right? He mentioned, yes, I've seen in my estate, I saw a security man. He's what's the word now? He's securing this place, and by the time he's done here, he's not going home to rest.
Okay.
He's
Resuming
moving
another
shift,
okay.
right? So you have people that they don't even sleep, right? And you wonder how do they manage themselves. I've seen Uber drivers in Lagos as well, like you mentioned. There may be, they don't even have houses to live. Their car is their everything, right? So at night, they sleep in their car. Once it's morning, they hit the road, right? Again, I mean, and this is because a lot of people, they don't earn enough to cover for their basic needs. And that's where the conversation is, right? And basically, my advice is people should learn to not frugal enough, but should also be able to separate their wants from their needs.
Okay.
Right? It's very, very important. If you know your want, like you mentioned earlier in the example he gave, you see someone want to go into marriage, he doesn't even have anything, right? He will just depend on his friends, family, and all to do contribution for him at the end of the day. At that time, that guy is not ready for marriage.
Interesting.
Yes, at that point, if you have to marry and you need people to contribute for you, no. You should focus on stabilizing your finances to an extent, right?
How do you sustain the marriage even going
forward? Exactly. So that's why I said needs and wants. People, we need to understand and differentiate them, because sometimes you see your wants as your needs, but you can actually do without your wants. We then need to now sensitize and teach people, educate a lot of people on needs versus want. I believe if we understand this better, then it now put people in a pedestal or in a position where they are not able to allocate more funds to their needs
and not their wants. Okay, thank you. It has been a very interesting conversation, honestly. Thank you, boss. Thank you, Mr. Oludare. Honestly, I'm sure that our audience out there have learned a lot of things, because the truth is the economy is not going to wait for you, but if you have the right information, you'll be able to match up with the economy, right? All right, this is not going to be the last. This is just the first of its kind in this series. We're going to come back with more interesting topics about the about information based on Nigerians, finance information that Nigerians need to know. So this is Zabira Buzzed Me, and this is just the first series of This Money Matters.